Joe, how much have you enjoyed being back in goal then?
Yeah, obviously nice to be back in the team. Really enjoyed the Mansfield game, I must admit. It's always special, isn't it, on a Friday night? I remember them when I first signed. I think they just finished probably back in the late 90s. So you always got a bigger crowd, but really enjoyed that one, to be honest. And yeah, listen, when you get to my age, it's you want to play as much as you can, because probably your last game is not far away. So to be put back in, I was delighted, and thankfully it's gone okay.
And I know you made some good saves in that game, didn't you? I know goalkeepers don't want to be busy, but was it nice to have some saves to make to get you back into it, kind of thing?
Yeah, for me, it's not really the saves. I can remember the first touch. I think it was like a through ball, and I just came out and took it at the edge of the box, and then threw an early ball out to Lee. So for me, that kind of settled you more than maybe making a save. I think the saves are just what you've done from when you're a kid. But when you're being out of the team as a goalkeeper, I think the distances is the hard thing. The ball's over the top or the ball's down the side, because you haven't played for a while. It's difficult to judge them sort of things. So if I can remember, after a couple of minutes, I think that was the fourth ball I had to deal with. So that kind of settled me a little bit. And again, listen, I like to be vocal, so that settles you into the game as well. So no, I've enjoyed it, and hopefully it can continue.
And you just said, Danny, as you get older, you want to play all the games. You hadn't played in the league since that concussion in the Rochdale game. So how difficult has it been for you?
It was difficult at the time, to be honest. I felt I had some decent form. Although the team, we weren't getting the results. I felt great in pre-season, to be honest. And I told the gaffer that I wanted to play. And then, Ross didn't come in until just before the start of the season. So I felt like the shirt was mine, to be honest, and enjoyed the first 5-6 games. And then it happened. I've been concussed before, but not like that. It took me a long time to get over it. Mood swings, mood changes, ratty stuff like that. It was really strange, but when I went to see the specialist, like, that's all they're the symptoms of concussion. So I had it quite bad, and listen, the team did well, and Ross came in and did really well. So it was disappointing, but that's football. Listen, I've been around it long enough now to know what happens, and you've no divine right to play week in, week out. So it was it's been difficult, but for me, it's just great being around the place. I love training, I love being around the lads, I love traveling to games, being involved, and because I'm at that end of my career, I want to get into the coaching side as well. So it's good to be in and around the bench and listen to what the gaffer has to say, or Parky or Dawsey, so, because it's something I probably want to get into as well. And
Ross Doohan, he's played really well, hasn't he? He's only 23. Do you think he's got a really good long career ahead of him?
Yeah, 100%. Ross will play 500, 600, 700 games in his career. I could see that from the moment he walked through the door. He's been excellent. Listen, it happens. It happened to me when I first got my chance back in '99. It was because of dip in form in the team, and they just make some changes. The manager makes some changes, and listen, he's took it really well. I've got a good relationship with Ross, as do all goalkeepers, I suppose. Do I want to play? Of course I do. Does Ross? We do. We all want to play, but he's been excellent. He's been absolutely brilliant, and I think whatever happens at the end of the season, whether he fancies himself to go back up to Celtic and push Joe Hart, I think he'll really do that. For me personally, I look back at what I did in my career, and I left, Tranmere at 2021 and then didn't play for 4 years, So I've said it to Ross, make sure you keep playing, whether that's, at League 2 level or back up north or whatever. He needs to play, because he'll just improve even more. And he's a good kid.
And how much do you like passing on that experience to the young goalkeepers as well?
Yeah, I've always liked analysing goalkeepers, whether that's in training or in games, their start positions or their shape or things like that. So, I like to pass on what I feel they could, take small snippets from, but I don't like to be too much, because every goalie's their own person, so we all got different traits and different habits, and Ross might be better than one thing at me, but I might be different, or so it's you just try and help out what you can. If you ask for my opinion, I'll give my opinion, and vice versa. Listen, I'm still learning all the time. I'm sure if you ask Clarky the same thing, we're always learning, you know. So it's been good, but like I said, we've got a good relationship, and I'm sure Ross is disappointed that he's been taken out of the team as well. But like I said, it's football. It's what happens.
As much as you need the ability to be a goalkeeper, you must have a really strong mentality, because it's probably the most difficult position on the pitch, isn't it? Because only one can play.
Yeah, it is difficult. Yeah, when you look at the outfield players, there's not many that can't play maybe in 2 or 3 positions. So it's it can be difficult, and especially if you go to a club where I have done in the past, and you know you're going to be second choice. You know, it is difficult. You have to get your head around that. But like I said, I felt really good in pre-season, and I knew there was a goalkeeper coming in, but you know, I've kept myself ticking over, and I felt through pre-season and in the pre-season games, I felt I did okay, you know, but injuries happen, things happen, and you can be out of the team in the blink of an eye, you know. So it's the way football is. You just got to keep your head down, you know. It's happened to me, as I said, 4 or 5 times maybe in my career where I'm playing, maybe the team had a bit of a dip in form. Didn't think my form was, you know, no different, but the manager wants to make changes. So it's I said to Ross, listen, it might be the first time it's happened, but it definitely won't be the last time it'll happen in your career, especially being a goalkeeper.
I just want to ask you about your fellow Irishman, Kelleher. How impressed have you been with him? And is he too good to be number 2, do you think?
Yeah, listen, you know, Lee has worked with him at the under-21 level, and he's just great to watch. He's so relaxed. You can tell he spends a lot of time with Allison, who for me looks like he's just got out of bed to play a game of football, and rolls out, and he's one of the best in the world. So he's learning from the best. And I remember I spoke to John Achterberg a few years ago just about him, and he just said he's just so calm. Nothing really gets to him, which you need to be as a goalkeeper. I think for me personally, as an Irishman looking at him, he needs to get out, and I'd say there'd be so much interest to get him in, but whether that happens, I don't know. It's difficult when you've got a 70 million pound goalkeeper playing in front of you. But, you know, how far off Allison is he? You know, people will say he's very close, and when he's come in, he's done really well. So it's great to see an Irish goalie with a proper Irish name as well, doing really well. And I'm sure if there was a chance for him to get out on loan, I'm sure they'd be queuing around the block to try and take him.
He's got great experience as well, hasn't he? He's played in a major cup final and played brilliantly in that cup final as well.
Yeah, anytime he stepped in for Liverpool, he's done excellent. He played in some big game, played the Chelsea game this year. You know, he just looks like a lad that nothing phases him, you know, and to have that as a goalkeeper, that is literally 75% of the battle. It's all between your ears, you know, the majority of it, and how you can brush off things and deal with ups and downs. Not that he's had many downs in his career yet, but he will. But he looks like really level-headed, and you know, for any young goalkeeper out there, I think if you can be like that and just, I think it comes with experience. But yeah, he's so young and has it, so he's special, all right.
And if we get back to Tranmere, you've got 8 games left. You've been promoted with Bury and Scunthorpe, of course. So how well positioned do you think Tranmere are?
Yeah, I think we're doing all right. Listen, it's one of them where you just, when you get down to say 10 to 12 games, you start to looking at positioning and stuff like that. But for me now, I know it's an old cliche, it's literally just one game at a time. Forget about it. It's so tight up there, isn't it? It's maybe even top 8, top 10. But we just have to look after ourselves. You know, don't look at, who do we play at home and who have we got away and we should win that or we shouldn't win that. It's not about that. Listen, it's the end of the season. People are fighting for different things, whether that's relegation or promotion. So we're in a good spot. We really are. We're in a good spot. If someone had offered us this before the start of the season, I think we would have took it. So we're in a good run of form now. And hopefully, you know, if we can cap it off with a victory at the weekend, I think that would be a good, you know, couple of weeks' work.
Okay, Joe, cheers for that. Good luck for the weekend.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Hey, Joe, how are you doing, mate?
Hey, yeah, good, thanks.
I suppose you've probably got a unique perspective on what football is, obviously having a career as long as yours. What have been the biggest changes over the span of your career to football, do you reckon?
I think we actually got asked about this the other day. Me and Clarky did an interview 40 years old and still in football, what would the changes been? But there's been so many. I just think, I think the physicality, the things about fitness, all the data that you can, back in the day, everyone did the same warm up, everyone did the same load. Everything's changed now. Everything's tailored for each individual player. For me personally, nothing's really changed. I did obviously came in with the back pass rule. That's how long ago it was. So I kind of played before that, and now while it's been in. But in regards to goalkeeping, yeah, it's all about playing with your feet now as well. We talked about, being a mental thing. I think, you're talking nearly 60-70% as well as with your feet now. So, and I've been lucky enough that I used to play outfield, so I enjoy that part of the game. I just wish I was 20 years younger coming into the game now. But no, it's subtle things when it comes to goalkeeping. But in regards to football, there's so much. Even at lower level, there's still a lot of change. It's so much more professional, and you just got to go with it. You've got to change your mentality as you get older and just go with it.
When you started your career, you were in the same Tranmere squad as one Mickey Mellon. What's it like now being sort of managed by somebody you used to be a teammate with?
Yeah, I was at Shrewsbury 2 years ago, and I was older than the manager, so I've had a few situations. But yeah, I used to clean when the gaffer first joined. I used to clean his boots. So he hasn't asked me to do that in the last couple of years. But yeah, listen, I've always had a relationship with the gaffer. He got in touch with me last year before he went to Dundee to try and bring me in. So I was thankful that Jacko brought me in, and then it's made a full circle. The gaffer's back here. So yeah, you get to that age and you start bumping into people that used to play with, and now all of a sudden they are managers or coaches, but it's good because the gaffer's very approachable when it comes to asking questions and anything about that when it comes to coaching, because like I said before, I'm looking to get into that, and I want to learn off people like the gaffer who's experienced, and Dawsey who's being the first team manager here as well, Parky as well, who's worked at the youth team. So it's something I want to get into, and to have them around is good.
So is that what's in your future then? Is it going into coaching?
I think so, because it's all I know. It's all I've ever done. I moved over here when I was 15 years old, and we've been doing it 25 years. I would love to stay in the game because I feel like I've got a lot to give. A lot of people would walk away from the game, but me personally, I do like to, like I said, assist the young lads and have a look. And I feel like the information that I do give on the pitch is good. I'd like to think it is. I don't know where it is, maybe not all the time, but yeah, it's something I would like to look into. I don't know for how long. I just think I'd like to do it. Is it my career for the next 20 years? I don't know, but it's definitely something I couldn't walk away from. I'd have to dip my toe in it and see. I'm doing a lot of local stuff now at the minute, local goalkeeping sessions and camps and stuff like that, which I really enjoy, because I always felt, the goalkeeper at the Sunday League team never got any, we just got one of the dads to kick the ball at him, and that was his training for the week, and then he'd play the game. So I'm just trying to do a little bit with the younger kids around the world, and thankfully it's going okay at the minute. It's something I want to, delve into deeper as well. So hopefully get that up and running over the next few months.
Lovely. And then just one more from me. Over your career, as you've already touched on, you've had many ups and downs. One of the biggest ups, obviously, playing in the League Cup final back in 2000. Where would automatic promotion sort of rank in the scale of your career?
Yeah, I got asked that as well last week. I think it would be right up there because they're a bit sweet. You mentioned, like, obviously got promoted with Berry 3 years ago, and that was sweet because of the situation financially with the club, and we actually got promoted here at Tranmere with a draw, and it was great to have that elation, knowing that I'm not going to have that many more times, but then the reality of not being paid then slowly kicked in and was difficult to kind of celebrate, but on that day my kids were there, so when I had promotions in the past I didn't have children, so even stuff like that to share with them was excellent, and it would be massive. And I was going to say maybe a great way to bow out, but I feel like I've got plenty in the tank. But yeah, listen, I think the older you get, you take they're a little bit sweeter, I think. So we'll definitely be trying to push on, and hopefully we can get there.
Lovely. Cheers, Joe. Good luck Saturday, mate.
Just one for me, Joe. Just going back to the concussion. It's obviously a hot topic in all kinds of sports at the moment. Did that really bring home to you the dangers of that kind of injury? Because it was quite shocking to hear you talk about the symptoms there. What you suffered.
Yeah, it was strange. Like I said, I've had concussion before. Probably the last one was probably about 8 years ago, but there was none of the protocols back then. And it's all come in now with the rugby players and ourselves and the substitutions and things like that. So it was really strange, the way I was feeling, the way I was around the kids, the way I was. The light affected me, for about 2-3 weeks. I just felt I wasn't myself, and there's new protocol now. You have to pass a certain concussion test before you can return, and I just couldn't pass it. I just couldn't do it. It really hurt my head trying to figure out these different shapes and codes and whatever. You do it on a laptop now, and until you complete that, you can't return. And it just, you go and see the specialist, and he's kind of looking at you, kind of saying, Joe, this is what concussion is. You've obviously had a bad knock by your own player. But it is, yeah. If that happens to a player 3-4 times in the space of a short space of time, it's got to be damaging. It only happened to me once, and I was pretty. I went for a walk. I remember on this about 10 days after, and I just couldn't. I couldn't physically walk 200 yards. I just felt tired and really, really strange feeling. So for that to happen to maybe these rugby players that are hitting players or footballers, I think they've really locked it down now, and they all understand what can happen. Because as a player, I couldn't against Rochdale, but in the past I've been knocked out for a couple of seconds, and you just want to play on. You don't think there's anything wrong with that. So now the doctors, the physios, they have priority. They can take you off. I think the lad against Mansfield, the centre half, went down in our box 2 weeks ago, and I was stood next to him. He was gone. There was no way he could continue. His eye was completely closed. He looked dazed, but he wanted to play on. And the doctor and the physio they made the call. And I don't even think it was a concussion, so they just took him off. So it's good that it's in their hands and taken out of players' hands. But I think hopefully that will, it will help going forward with these sort of situations.